And
So I'm telling everybody.
hello and welcome back to the Married for Boss podcast, where we discuss mindsets and methods for making you more money, of course. This episode, I already know that I'm going to love because we're just going to be keeping all the way 100, all the way 1,000 with you guys. And hopefully you help continue the conversation in the comment section.
Yeah.
So we're just going to be talking about some things that we know that you're thinking. We're just going to say it out loud today. Okay. So what's the first of many subjects that we should just throw out there?
I'm going to talk about the one because it's just feeling very current to me. No shade, no shade. I'm thinking about the clients that default, right? And when you keep communicating, right? So yes, please have a system for when you are dealing with your clients and the payments don't come in, all the things that go through that, right? But I think about the clients when we do give grace, and we are human because we're human. Life is lifing, things happen, right? And you give the extended grace, and maybe even sometimes I even continuously help because if I'm helping them, then more money's going to come in for you to pay me,
Right.
even that. And then the part that hurts I think about is when they go ghost.
Mm.
And when I do have to, there's parts where you do have to stick collections on them and then they start paying them. But why couldn't you pay me when I gave you the grace to do so? I still showed up in a way for you to still do so. And I think about when you treat people that way, it's not really hurting me. Yes, I didn't get the funds, whatever, it's the cost of doing business. But it's also hurting you in the way your clients are going to treat you when you don't pay.
It is.
When you don't do the things, when you don't stay in communication, I think about it's hurting you more than it's hurting me because how you treat me is how your clients are going to treat you.
Yeah, I think that it's human nature first. So before the integrity even comes in as developed human beings, but it's our basic nature to not see those things and not be pressed to do something until the consequences start to come into play.
Yeah.
So even with what you just said, why are you paying the collection agency but not me? It's because the collection agency is now affecting their credit, which is going to affect other things. So it had to get to that point. The integrity part didn't click in yet. And like you said, life be life and it's whatever. But I think that especially for you and what you guys do, there's no reason to go ghost. You know, a conversation goes a long way. A conversation could possibly get you an arrangement, or the conversation can even just help us to not waste our time.
And even the conversation can help you make money move. So I think about if you are having troubles paying your stuff, you know, making money move is putting something down. So if you can't pay the full amount owed, what is the something that you can be put down? Because money still has to move, right? And then you're showing the person like, hey, I'm still going to be of integrity to pay my thing off. It's just going to be a little bit different. And then we can still work together. We can still make it happen because I'd rather work with that person than the person who ghosts me.
Right.
And disrespects me in a way that because I've showed up fully for you, right? So I think about like that. And yes, this is the cost of doing business, but it's still a part that bothers me, right? Yes, we're going to have people that are not going to pay their bill. Yes, we're going to have situations that don't feel good. But I just think in that aspect, it took all of those things. And then mind you, we do a lot of tries before we get to the legal aspect of it. And it just hurts. And, you know, you try not to take it personal because at the end of the day, it's a business, right? You don't take it personal. But just looking at it, it's just kind of like, you can just pay that little small inkling to me.
Some people some people may have, and this is speaking for me, like as you know, the last couple of years I've definitely wanted to invest in like coachings and things like that. You know, things that had the promise is going to help me make money to help pay you. And not everything worked out, but like you said, communication is just so amazing. Like sometimes you got to be honest, like, you know what, I want to say you just can't, because even we teach like ways to make the money. But if you're say that you're just under, like for some reason that just can't be on the top of the priority list anymore, I guess I can say. Communication just has to be there. And truthfulness. I've had a client who wasn't paying. She was communicating with me, but she was kind of stringing me along at the same time. Like she didn't want to lose me for the content that she was trying to get. It was very important to her. I can tell she was passionate about it and everything, but she just couldn't do it, and she was afraid to admit that to me, which would have saved me a lot of time because those same resources could have been going to someone else,
Right.
you know. And however it is in your policy to take care of situations like that, let it be. But just encourage a good relationship from the beginning. Like, hey, talk to me, be honest, and we just want to move forward, whatever moving forward looks like.
Yeah, I do think about that. I do like that fact, like that you do have those conversations with them, and you're making it a precursor to the things. But I think about also like the truth of just being an entrepreneur. Like we all know that it's not it can be an emotional roller coaster. Brittany touched on another episode that it can expose the ugliness stuff that's deep inside you, within you. It can just expose it out to you. And I think that sometimes, most times, it can make you sit still and not even want to be an entrepreneur.
Girl, let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you be like, what, is it worth it? Because the way I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing,
I'm burning my business down.
I'm burning my business, and it's something I think in that split moment you go through. I'm only here because I wanted to start a business. Like this is in a way it's on me. Like I'm the cause of my own demise here. I'm the cause of my own emotional mental breakdown in this moment. Why did I even start this? Like it comes with the territory. It really does. Like, why did I do this? I can't handle it. Oh my God. Just going through my own growing pains. I'm gonna always be transparent about it. It's going through my own growing pains because I am growing through it. There have been plenty of times where I was like, I do this to myself. Going back to Bank of America, so God good at it.
The job's looking nice over there.
But those are moments because as human beings, and especially as a business owner, you get to solutions. You figure out solutions. These are just that moment. And if you really want this, if you really go back to your why, if you really go back to the things we talked about on previous episodes, the impact that you're going to have and all that, if you don't want to let that go, you're going to find a solution. It may not end the perfect way that you expected it to in the beginning, but it's a part of being a business owner, and it's something that you're going to learn and not make that same mistake again.
Yeah, that is true. I think about also like right now we're going back and forth, like being an entrepreneur, the truths about being an entrepreneur. I think about how the time it takes to build, like we said, Instagram, all these things can be a facade on, tomorrow you wake up, you got 50 million followers and your revenue was 2.5 million and all these things are happening. I think the truth about the patience and the surrender it takes to build, right? And appreciating that process in between. At this point in time, we are not the millions and we're not there yet. But I can tell you, because of our diligence and understanding patience, and yes, we question the patience and we end up questioning ourselves. But I think it's something about that process that is not appreciated enough, especially when you're going through it. You're not even thinking about it. Let's be real. On the build, because you're not going to day one start and have 1 million customers. No, it takes time, it takes building, it takes that trust factor to get to where we are today. Even some people look at us and think like, y'all have all these, y'all do that, but we did not. We start at zero, just like anybody else.
And there were plenty, like Shy was just saying, plenty of times where we were going back to the drawing board and realizing like, okay, this didn't hit the way that we thought it was going to hit. But through all these years of us doing Made Herself a Boss, we have grown. And what held us together in those moments is that we knew with Made Herself a Boss, we were sitting on something good.
Oh, yes.
Every time we even, for inkling, discussed maybe not continuing, we would be like, but this is like so powerful, but this has so much potential. Just in the name alone. And where we've come from with this alone. And so that's held us together. And I know that by the time, if you're in our ideal audience, I know that you've experienced this before. We're talking now to the ladies who've been doing this for a little minute and maybe hit a plateau or just need that change, you probably are currently or have been in a situation where you're questioning this whole operation.
Oh my God.
But just remember your why, remember the value that you do have, remember that you're probably in this situation because you're not reminding yourself of the value that you do have. And just keep it going.
And also remember that your next level requires a certain level of hardship before you get to that next level, right? I think about a lot of times where your breakthrough, when you think about breakthroughs, right? Before the breakthrough, you're going through turmoil, you're questioning. I think about my own self, like I'm questioning God, I'm questioning what's going on, like everything is going array, and then the breakthrough happens. But along that way, I still had that ounce of faith. What do you need? A mustard seed size of faith? Like I'm still having that faith in the midst of the turmoil or the trials that are happening. But same in business, like when you question everything ounce of who you are and who you can become when you are in this journey, especially if you are purpose driven. I think you need to be purpose driven, right? Especially if you have a spiritual foundation, you are like, okay, but why? Why, God, you promised me that I could have this. Why am I experiencing all of this?
Right.
And what you have to realize that you have to go through all of this to teach people how to get through it. Back to it's never about you.
Right.
You are going to question your every existence. I question my every existence every other day, it feels like sometimes. But noticing that I can't help you become the boss you want to be if I'm not becoming the boss that I want to be. And that takes going through trials. So I think about a lot of things that we've been through or have gone through or will go through is helping us teach others how to become this boss version of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a full circle moment because for those of you guys who are just meeting us or you don't remember, when Madness of a Boss started, our whole concept was that we're learning how to do this shit and we're teaching you how to do this shit as we're learning how to do this shit. Like, we were bringing in other speakers and we wanted to be like the resource.
Yeah.
Instead of the ones.
Yeah.
And just as a full circle moment, I mean, I feel like almost every business owner is going to like just have that moment. You're going to be in a position where if this is something new or I've come across something that's unfamiliar to me, I have to learn it first in order to teach it, in order to have that power to push it forward.
Because what we don't do is theory. What we do is what works. And I think about that, even thinking about when we just started, were we even hiding behind our own brilliance? Because it wasn't like we didn't know some of the things or most of the things that the ladies were teaching. So even thinking about when we first started or not where we are right now in this moment, but as we first started in that transition, were we hiding behind our own brilliance? Like, did we know that we knew what we knew, but maybe just didn't want to put that in the forefront?
Like be the forefront.
I think about that sometimes.
I see what you're saying. I don't feel like that was us. I feel like it was just for you gamers out there. I feel like that level just needed to be unlocked. I don't think that we were necessarily fearful of it. Maybe me personally, I didn't even think of being the one to like teach a whole masterclass and stuff by myself. Like I feel like, okay, I got some basic knowledge. I mean, I want to hear what the speaker has to say too, So I didn't see it at that point as a being fearful to step into that level. I think maybe I didn't know that didn't think that I had that level, didn't know that I had that level. And once we figured out, oh, we on that level.
Yeah.
Just to go ahead and do it. So it wasn't like an emotional transition for me. It was just that, oh, I can, like a revelation more so than me.
That. So entrepreneurship will unlock levels and revelations of things that you didn't even know that could even be possible for you. And like she said, when we did first start, it was like we want to put other people on as well because we're big on community.
Super big on community.
So it was like, okay, we know this person is great, this person's great. Let's put them together and have them help other people as well. So I think about that as well as far as like your, our truths of being that. As before we get more deeper in depth on your truths of being an entrepreneur and other things that you are thinking about, but maybe not are going to say out loud, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back from the break, we'll dive in a little bit deeper on some more of these things. See you soon.
The Bossy Picnic is back. The #1 picnic experience for women entrepreneurs is back in Delaware, and as usual, we want to celebrate the moneymaker in you. This is your chance to enjoy a curated picnic experience with other powerful and driven women entrepreneurs for an unforgettable afternoon of community, conversations, celebrations, charcuterie, music, and more. At the Bossy Picnic, you'll be surrounded by women who are just like you, unapologetic and growing their businesses. Get ready to build relationships that inspire, shift your mindset to abundance, become aware of gaps in your business, and do something about it, all while enjoying a beautiful picnic experience. Use the link to learn more and register below.
Well, welcome back to the Made Yourself a Boss podcast. For this episode, we're just getting real about some things. It's like real CEO talk here.
I love it.
One thing I love about the Made Yourself a Boss brand, community, anything we do is that transparency is usually the root of everything, right? And I mean, this may be contrarian to talk about, but I think about because we're becoming the bosses we want to be in this version of ourselves, this money-making CEO. I also think how it correlates into dating. And I think about experiences I've had in dating other people, and we're going to talk about this in different ways, right? When you are a money-making CEO, your business is generating, and you're dating, and you're meeting men, and all the things that happen in that, and you're having conversations, and the money comes up.
Yeah,
the money comes up, right? And seeing or foreseeing how this gentleman or lady, whomever, acts or perceives money, to me, is a big thing, right? Especially if there are situations where you make more money than your significant other or the potential partner, right? Because we're dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
The potential partner. How does that play out?
I think it just has to play out in just an honest conversation as soon as possible. Like me, because I plan to be at a certain spot, I'm already having a conversation, asking a lot of scenario questions just to find out where they stand with certain things, which there's nothing wrong with where they stand with certain things. Like, what are your priorities? How would you like things to be? Like, in your ideal partner, what would you be looking for? And how would me being a business owner or your partner being a business owner, like, what would that look like for you? And I think it's super important to ask these questions as soon as possible. If you've already been with someone, but you plan on having a new venture at this point, like, you got to have these conversations, because what you don't want is for something to come up later. What you don't want is for someone to start resenting you for something later. And if you truly know, if you're already dating them, if you truly know the person, it probably won't come as a surprise if they start to act different towards you, whether they're making more money or you're making more money. But I think just the more the communication, the better, honestly.
Yeah, and also I love how you said inviting them into the vision of your business. I love how you said that, because that's most times what is necessary or needed. And I think also talking about what you need. Like, are you confident in what you need from your partner? How can they protect and provide for you? Because not, like we said, not all growth is financial, but not all that you need is financial, right? For you, well, whatever it is for you, also communicating on what that need is. I think about even when dating and when you are communicating that you are this ambitious person, and they are not, there is a, when it comes to, and I'll do that for me, because everything is mindset. Like, I can't be the one that's the top dreamer, doer, executor, and you just have a level of mediocrity that is okay for you, right? I think sometimes you said something really cool when we were talking off camera. Have sometimes you being who you are helps people rise to the occasion of who they can be.
Right.
And seeing that, it's not my job to make you rise to the occasion, but seeing the efforts of them rising up to who they didn't even know that they could be, is inspiring, one, but it's also a thing. So I'm looking at that when I'm dating. I'm looking at, besides the basics things, right, ladies, how they're treating us, respecting us, opening the doors, things of that nature. That's important to me, because it might not be important to you, but it's important to me, because I want to be treated as such. And also knowing that in my relationship, I don't want to be the CEO of my relationship.
Oh, no.
At work, I made myself a boss, and all other aspects, I am the CEO. I am that girl. in my relationship, I want to be an amazing, beautiful, soft, lovely woman in my relationship. And that means differently to everybody, right? Everybody has their own connotation of what that means to them. But I don't want to be the boss of my relationship.
That's exhausting. And you just said something that I think is going to tie this whole conversation together. It's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to look different. Like, I consider myself to be an ambitious person, but it wasn't until the last few years that what I envision my ideal life being is that I have my business in a way where I'm only personally working with the people that I want to work with. You know, I have staff, I have automations, I have everything like that because I want to spend the majority of my time home with my kids.
That part.
And cooking for somebody. You know, that's just how I want to be.
Right.
And most ambitious girlies would be like, you know, that's not ideal for them, but it is going to look
different for
everybody. Like how you're going to utilize your time and your money when you have the option to do these things.
Yeah.
And, you know, most ambitious girls love ambitious guys, but even that's going to look different because sometimes those overly ambitious guys are not going to be like the be at home, hold you at night, nurturing type. They're going to be up getting it. They're going to be at home in the home office getting it. You know, so I harp again, the communication, asking people, what does that look like for you? Throwing out some scenarios here and there. You know I've gotten on some men's nerves with my questions, so what do you think about this? Questions, you know? But I really want to, in order to avoid some, as much as I can, some conflict or surprising, or your mindset is here, but I thought it was elsewhere. I don't want to assume. It really does look different for everybody. Communication is key, and that's how you find your right person anyway, like the right combination of codes for you. And if you want to be a business owner, that shouldn't change.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And I like that you said that it will be different for everybody, but you need to know what you need, what you desire. And like you said, have the conversation. I also think about when having the conversation, being confident in what you desire enough that if it's not serving you, you're fine with walking away with it and not staying in something that's not serving you with that. But like, you know, dating as an entrepreneur, you know, just or dating in general. But dating as an entrepreneur has its ups and downs, its ins and outs of it. But I think about it from the money aspect of it when it comes to dating. It's because maybe there's some things I'm experiencing in this moment or not. So I think about it that way. But another thing is that when I'm doing things in my business, there are days where I just don't feel like it. Do you have those moments where you just don't feel like doing anything? Like, you know what you need to do to generate income, you know what you need to do to market, but you just don't feel like doing all. There are days where I don't want to write no emails. There are days I don't want to take no pictures. There are days I don't want to market. I don't want to speak. I don't want to do what's necessary in the business to make it move forward. And I work on giving myself grace for those days, but also going back to the root of reason, things need to get done. Things need to get done. If I don't have the team member, if I'm not, you know, the things like that, I need to do it, let me make sure it gets done. But there are moments I just don't feel like doing shit.
And it could just be a struggle. I'm gonna mention it briefly again, not as a crutch, but just knowing with the way my brain chemistry works, it's always been a struggle to get some stuff done. And it was just very frustrating for me because I knew that I was capable. I knew that I was a deep thinker. I'm smart. I'm really good at finding resolutions to things and brainstorming. My execution has always been a struggle, whether I wanted it to be or not, my whole entire life. So in 2024, where we are in the world of automation, we are in the world of partnerships and connections and utilizing, helping each other and things like that. It's not an excuse. What you have to do, if you find yourself in a way where you just don't feel like doing it, find a way for it to still get done. If it's not yourself personally, if it's somebody's bot, or if it's someone that you have to pay, or if it's you just having to set aside a certain time of day and breaking it up to still get it done, like still get it done. That I don't feel like it shit ain't gonna fly. My accountability partner to make sure it doesn't fly with me. I will get a real friendly text on a random Tuesday like, hey, did you edit this? And now I gotta come up with a solution to either do it right in that moment so I can happily text back to her, it's done, or just give her an expectation, give her a proper expectation on when things are going to get done. But we can't use "I don't feel like it" as an excuse. We all go through that. I don't feel like it today. I'm gonna just push it to the side. And then especially if you're an entrepreneur, we can control our schedule. That's a blessing and a curse sometimes. But you have to get it done, and it comes back to knowing yourself. How can I work around the inevitable that I'm going to feel this way sometimes? How can I work around this inevitable and still get it done? Because it's sadly when we have those moments and say it doesn't get done, that's literally affecting the money coming into your pocket. So now you're just going to be sitting there with egg on your face feeling stupid. I missed out on X amount of dollars because I didn't feel like doing this today. Feeling dumb. So, put things into perspective, know yourself, and work with yourself.
Yes, because you are yourself. Yes, that's definitely doing that. And I think also about when it comes to knowing yourself, knowing when you've been stretched too thin.
Oh, yeah.
And admitting it to yourself and backing down if you need to. Like Brittany said, if you need to hire somebody, if you need to do something, do so that the work is still getting done, but know yourself enough to know I'm overwhelmed. I need to step back. I need to sit still. And it's okay. Like, we're not saying that you have to be a running machine every single day. No, like there are moments where you're going to feel that. You're human. You're going to feel those things, but in those moments, recognize it, be aware of it, and what are those steps that you need to take for yourself so that you're not feeling that? Do you need to take a break? Is it a mental break that needs to be taken? Like, take the things that you need so that you can show up fully in your business for yourself, for your customers, for whomever that is needed, your team, whatever, right? So I think there's a part of acknowledging where there are moments of overwhelm, stretched too thin, I just need a quick break, that you need to acknowledge and celebrate yourself for acknowledging it and taking that step back, whether it's an hiatus, whether it's let my team take care of it, whether it's even communicating to some of your clients, hey, can we reschedule? For whatever reason. Never be afraid of getting rid of clients that no longer serve you or that you don't want to work with. We call it terminating clients. Have your termination agreement on standby if need be.
Have a blacklist.
Yes, because you have the right to let go of clients that you don't want to serve anymore. And even if you find out that it's in the midst of doing the service, you're like, oh no, this is not good. This is not working. Have the conversation with the client, give them a termination agreement, let them out of their program, and you be great. You know what I'm saying? So also recognize that it's okay to change and not want to work with certain people anymore as you are growing and glowing and understanding yourself even more of what you're going to allow and not allow.
Well said. Well said, first of all. So, I mean, we definitely got into some the dating aspects. We definitely got into sometimes you just don't feel like doing everything. What's something else that you feel like we're all thinking, but let's just go ahead and say it while we're here.
My brain went to something else, but my brain went to I want some more food. But things that we think about and we don't say out loud is, can I really get to the money I really desire? I think a lot of times we think about, we want to make X amount of dollars that will change our entire lives. But deep down inside, we doubt if we really can actually get there because we're looking at where we are in this moment. And I think that's the stuff that we don't say out loud. We don't say, I don't believe or I don't think that I am able to get to X amount of money. And it could be due to the situations that we're experiencing or where we are in our business, the stages that we currently are in our business. But I don't think that's spoke about a lot out loud. Like we'll go to different places, conferences, events, and we're like, I am that moneymaker. I am that millionaire. I am all these things. And you feel empowered in the moment. And then you step out of that environment. And you're like, yeah, that was okay for the moment.
Yeah, it felt good. And those things are there at those conferences because I think it's generally known that we are all going to feel that way. But like you said, I don't think that no one's specifically saying it. It's something that's thought but not said. And it is important to put that out there. And I think that the more successful a person gets, they're more afraid to admit that. You know, they just want their highlight reel to show because that in their heads, that's what's going to bring them money. Success, 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 success. I'm doing this. I got it. I'm on the yacht. And that's what's going to make these people buy into me because they want to buy into my lifestyle. They also want to experience this. However, they can also be in that moment like, oh, this didn't work out. I'm questioning myself right now. I think there's more people in successful spaces were transparent with that. I mean, they're successful. It's evident that what they do works, just like it's more likely evident in your position that what you do works. But we're all going to have those moments of questioning ourselves. And just being relatable, like allowing that to show sometimes. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think you're going to lose a customer because you questioned yourself today.
No, not at all. And I think a lot of those thoughts are deeper thoughts that we may be nervous to speak out loud, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a great marketer. You know, I don't think I can connect with people well. Whatever those deep fears that you think about and don't speak out loud, I think are the things that are holding people, whatever, back from that next level, everything, whatever that's supposed to look like for you. But I do think that the things that is one of the biggest things, because I even find with our audience is that they are excited to make more, even though they have achieved X amount and they're excited for more, but is more really attainable for me? Is more, do I think more is too much money? Because, you know, if you think it's too much, you won't even ever reach it, right? So I think those are the small, quiet thoughts.
Should I just be grateful for the position where I am? How dare I even ask for more? That's greedy, you know, this negative. There's people still today that will talk about a rich person like, oh, they don't need more. They don't need. Well, and I'm like, who are you to tell them what they
Exactly.
What heights that they're trying to reach? You know, because I'll be damn someone say that to me as I'm continuing.
There's nothing wrong with wanting more, by the way.
There's nothing more with wanting more. On a daily basis, on a regular basis, you have to be reminding yourself what you want. Because there's even going to be people out there too, like pushing you and pressuring you, maybe to a stage, not that you don't want it, but maybe to a stage that, you know, I'm doing well. I'll get more if I want to, or I'll get more for this specific purpose so that I can impact more lives and stuff like that. But we don't even want you to feel like socially pressured just to be successful. We all around want things to be for the right reason. You kind of get the difference what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I get what you're saying. I think that it's like knowing the difference between a business and a company. Like, it's okay to just want a business, or it's okay to just want to grow to be a company, because there are the things that you have to do for both, the things that you need to do, the continuous work to make it happen. And I think, like we're saying, it's okay that if you want to be at a certain level, but know that it's your reason for being there, right? And that there's no one pressuring you to do more because it's not what you you desire to do. I think a lot of times that sometimes other pressures can impact the decisions that we make, not realizing that it wasn't even our own thing that we wanted.
This wasn't my dream.
Yeah, and we're doing it, and it's not even our own. We're now consciously making these decisions. So back to knowing who you are and whose you are has a big part in that. But those are the thoughts that we keep within us, and we don't speak out loud as we're growing.
And the whole reason of you being in the business because you want to run things
your way,
in a way that works for you, in a way that delivers what you want to be delivered.
Yeah.
So all around, know what you want, know what you envision. That's why vision point versus vantage point,
it's important.
Knowing the difference and setting is so important.
Yeah. So what are some things that you think about but dare to speak out loud as you're on this journey and entrepreneurship? Like, yes, tell us about them. If you want to slide in our DM on Instagram, or matter of fact, we're on YouTube, go ahead and type it down in those comments below so that we can continue the conversation. Because what we do know is when we are able to think through these things, you're able to get the transformation on the other side of it, right? So we want you guys to be able to do that as we are closing out this episode. Definitely comment some of the thoughts that you have that you're not speaking out loud about them. The thing about being an entrepreneur is always going against the grain. It's doing what's left. It's always doing the other thing. And we want to make sure that you are confidently doing the things that are serving you, that's benefiting you, and making you feel proud and confident of the decisions that you're making.
Love that. And make sure that you do those journal prompts. Like, if you need help digging into that, like, because a lot of us are just not used to just saying what's on our mind, like not even conditioned to even consider it, right? Yeah. So if you need someone with the deeper digging, make sure that you do those journal prompts. Please. And we will see you on the next episode of the Maybe Simple Boss podcast.
Submit and subscribe.
Bye.